They own it.
So yes, Union Pacific owns right-of-way. We are purchasing that right-of-way in order to install our project tracks.
We're purchasing it, we're not leasing it from them.
That's correct.
Yeah, I'm going to follow up with the documents. That's my concern too. When I look at this, I believe the same thing you do. This looks way out of line. Why wouldn't we have known this, and beforehand? If these are the requirements, they shouldn't come now. After we put out, this is 3 times the amount. We're raising this. Yes, we're going to $475,000 on this thing. It's an additional 300 and what is it say here? 350,000.
The contract amount was $3 million, basically $3 million.
Well, we're increasing it by a huge amount. But why weren't these? I ask you that. These things had to be known beforehand. There's rules and laws that UPR has, or we didn't know these laws. We didn't know we had to do what before we put the contract up.
I don't think it's a matter of knowing or not knowing. We had to make an assumption of which way the negotiations would wind up. We thought the AREMA standard would be a reasonable standard for the particular location and use of these turnouts. At the end of the day, Union Pacific felt strongly that they should have their typical materials. Again, in the context of the larger negotiation, we agreed to do that.
Well, we haven't agreed yet. Okay.
Well, we're asking for your authority to proceed.
I'm uncomfortable with it too. Okay.
Board Member Clark?
I share the uncomfort, but I understand the scope of what you're discussing in terms of negotiations and an ongoing relationship. I guess my discomfort could be alleviated to know that are there any other impending considerations or elements like this of the project that this would inform us that we would have to amend to these other standards for them as well, and that we not be surprised later. Are there any other considerations like this?
I don't know of any specifically, but I would hazard a guess that there will continue to be, at a ever finer grain of detail, little questions coming up that may in fact result in some changes.
Well, I get that. I get that. I mean, that's.
I don't think there's any big issue hanging out there.
Specific to Oregon Public Railroad or Union Pacific as well. Can this inform us that there may be other considerations like this that may arise, that we would have a different standard to meet and therefore a higher cost, so that it would not be a surprise in the future if we would understand that it's coming up? You would negotiate to that point rather than us playing this catch-up, so to speak.
I think the answer is yes, both within
specifically related to the 2 railroads, not the overall project. I know you have negotiations on the animals within the overall project. I'm talking about the 2 railroads. Given my very limited experience with the railroad, they always bargain from a position of strength. Their strength. Yeah. Their point of view.
So yeah, my understanding is that the railroad's trumped just about everybody else.
We joke about the sovereign nation.
Yeah, that's right. Some very sharp lawyers in the 18th century, I think. Yeah. But are there any other questions? Board Member Circle?
No.
Okay. I guess I'm looking for a motion.
A motion to approve with the understanding that we'll observe other scenarios with the Union Pacific and the other railroad on an ongoing basis.
Mr. Chairman, based on the explanation given, I will support it. Give a second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 111.
But how could I use that knowledge to work for me? I'm glad that you asked. Let's look at the chart. I go into a store and purchase a pack of beer for, let's say, $3.99 or even less, depending on the security system. And I some unscrupulous individuals such as this man right here for, let's say, $40, $50 worth of food stamps. Now, he's easy to find. He might even be in your family. Now, I take that money and I find a little fat lady named Laquita with about 15 children. And I trade it to her for $25. What does that equal? More money, more money, more money.